Okay, when you're ready, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, David. Mr. Chairman, this is February 10, 2025, and by my watch, it's 4:46 p.m. This is a meeting of the Fair Election Fund Commission, and I believe we have at least a simple, we have a quorum here. Do we need to identify each of the commissioners that are participating, Ms. O'Neill?
Yes, please.
Okay, for the record, David, Mr. Chairman,
Bernice Tucker, co-chair.
Stephanie,
I don't know what happened. Oh, this is such.
Sorry, I got a call right as you said my name. Stephanie Baines.
Marietta,
I'm here, I'm driving, so that's why I'm off camera, but I'm here.
fantastic. And I see we have one that's just listed as a number. I'm not sure what that is, Sam.
That might be me. This is Annie Condoracci.
Ah, great. We got somebody else. Okay, Sam, if we're ready, I guess we can call to order of this February 10, 2025 Baltimore County Fair Election Fund Commission meeting. I think the first matter on the agenda, other than the call to order, is talk about the draft frequently asked questions for adoption.
Shane, do you have anything you want to share from a staff perspective?
Yes, I'm sorry. I don't know if anyone has actually gotten a chance to read the draft FAQ. If you have, I'm happy to take any questions about it. We circulated it in advance of the meeting. If you'll recall, we've put out a summary guide that you've all helped us work on together and adopt. The FAQ kind of helped break things down even more than that to really help the layperson understand like how to approach the Fair Election Fund. So I can give a quick example. The very first question just says, how does someone become a candidate using the Fair Election Fund? And instead of having to read the whole summary guide to figure it out, this just simply says, first you have to become a candidate for public office in general, and you do that with the Baltimore County Board of Elections. Then you have to register a public finance committee with the state and file a notice of intent. Then you have to open a publicly funded campaign account. You also have to raise a minimum number and dollar amount of qualifying contributions. And then you also have to file periodic reports. So anybody, I'm sure all that sounds very familiar to you, but these are the kind of questions and answers that we have there in the FAQ. And we would love to get it adopted so that we can share it with the public. These were just my ideas from what other counties have included in their FAQs on what might be helpful, but I'm happy to change them, edit them, add more, get rid of ones that you don't think are going to be helpful.
So Shane, this is David, Mr. Speaking. And I don't have the FAQs in front of me at the moment, but is it pretty clear at the outset, whether it's in bold lettering or whatever, just as I would call it, maybe sort of idiot proof, that the candidates know that this only applies to county executive and county council positions?
Oh, let me check. I'm going to search in it to see.
And as Shane is searching for that, can the caller who ends in 14 identify themselves, please?
Jamie McGurk is on the phone.
Thanks, Jamie.
I was just sending you an email.
Oh, now I've got an app issue, Sam, where I got stuck trying to share my screen and it's kind of frozen, but I'm trying to hit cancel. Okay, I was able to get out of it. Sorry.
Question 2, I think, addresses that. I pulled it up, Shane.
Yep, there you go. The only thing I would say, it's just simple for me, but I always appreciate when things are emphasized that are important, since that's such a preliminary thing, maybe that should be italicized or capitalized, so they know they're at the top. We all probably sometimes get lazy and just don't read everything we should, but people shouldn't waste their time if they decide they want to run for House of Delegates or State Senate or something like that.
Noted. I made a comment in the margin here.
Just a thought. I'm not saying it should be adopted, but
Now what happened?
I think it should be plain as it could be when you explain it.
does anyone else, any other commissioner have, forgive my black lab. Does anyone else have any comments about the frequently asked questions? Whether it be something else to comment on, to be emphasized?
Well, I was just looking at the flyer, the County Fair Election Fund flyer. And anyway, that's not a part of the frequently asked, but it does explain it. And 1, 2, 3, the fourth section, how do I participate in the Fair Election Fund? And I agree with you, David, it should be bolded because it's important to know. I mean, why should I go any further if I don't have this?
That's a good point.
I feel vindicated.
Wonderful.
Any other comments from the commissioners?
Hi, this is Stephanie. I think, since it's based on the other FAQs that exist for other participating calendars, I think we should go ahead and move forward with it and then update it as needed.
Sam, do we
Yeah,
need to
I'm
take
happy
a
to make
vote
that
on?
change. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, go
Same
ahead.
thing, Shane.
So I'm just happy to have that sentence in there or the bolded text and keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Shane or Sam, do we need to vote on anything here or just?
I'd appreciate a vote just to adopt it. Our regulations, I think, say that you'll adopt an FAQ.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there a motion to adopt the FAQ as recommended revised?
I make a motion. This is Bernice Tucker to
Is there-
revise. Yeah,
Is there,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Bernice, is there a second to that motion?
I'll
Jamie
second it.
McGurk will second it.
Marietta.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Sounds like the ayes are unanimous.
Oh, good.
That, with everybody's permission, let's go on to the next agenda item, which is an update of the council-matic redistricting. Any lawsuits lately? Or we'll wait?
Betsy, I think we're turning this over to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
Just a general
basically,
update. Oh, so go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, it's a general update. The bill to increase the size of county council did have a sample of a map. However, that the sample map is not in effect. What the actual process is that county council has to have a redistricting commission. That commission has been formed. My understanding is they should be meeting and reviewing, and we should have those council-matic districts fully off. The report with the suggestions should be submitted to county council by October 1st of this year, so that those districts can be officially identified and that candidates can officially run for them once they are officially recognized.
Mhm.
So Betsy, who serves on that commission? These are appointed by the council, or is the council does their own, they're not they're
They're
not their own
appointed.
commission?
They're appointed.
Okay.
They're appointed, and then they present their findings to the council, and the council.
By whom are they appointed? County Executive Klausmeyer or by the council itself?
I believe it's a similar format as this board, where it would be. I can look into that and double check it. And I believe it's a mix of appointments from commissioners and some from the CE.
So there's probably representatives for each of the councilmatic districts and some at large from the county executive.
Yes, I will give you an actual.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was actually just curious.
See.
I
Yeah,
don't
so there
believe
is a-
the county executive has appointments to this
Thank you.
commission, Betsy.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, I'm looking at their website now. It looks like each council has a representative for their district to make these determinations.
So one of the reasons I'm curious about it is one of the things I try to do is get out there and tout people to run. And I talk to people all the time, but I think you have to know what your district's going to be. And given the fact that I think we've already discussed, there would be a minimum 5 or 6 councilmatic seats available. The sooner they do it, the better.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I can tell you they've already started to meet and work on this, so hopefully get it done as quickly as possible. But October 1st is the deadline to have those recommendations into the county council.
So Betsy, could I restate just to make sure that I've understood too, because we could all get questions about this, that the basic bottom line now is that if somebody wants to get started, declare as a candidate, and start raising money in the fund between now and when the districts are finalized, they would need to do that within their current old district.
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay, and so that's how they can participate up to that point, and then they would need to take action to basically convert or switch over to their new district if they end up in a new one.
That's correct, and I can tell you that not only are county council staff aware of this, but also I know people from SBE and from the county board of elections are also aware of the issue. So it's something that they're working with people for.
Great. Yeah, it's inconvenient, but I'm glad we have everyone's looked into it at that level, way above my pay grade, and has figured it out to that point that, it's not the answer people would want to hear, but it makes sense.
I didn't think there was anything above your pay grade.
I wish. I'll keep working.
So Betsy, I think this was you when you said they've already started to meet on this. Does that mean that the commission has already been appointed for redistricting?
That's correct. The commission has been appointed, and it looks like their first meeting was January.
Okay. Is that
And
somewhere?
they are also scheduled to start meeting in 1 minute from now. So
Oh, really?
They'll be meeting today at 5.
Is that somewhere published on the county's website as to who the members of that commission are, et cetera?
That's correct. They're the 2025 Redistricting Commission. They have a website with meetings, with scheduled meetings, presentations, agendas, meetings, minutes, and as well as a quick biography of each member of the commission.
I'm just curious. Good.
That's where Brad may be. He may be observing that meeting.
That definitely seems like something he would be doing. Yeah.
But this is Bernice Tucker. That seems sort of tricky, especially if the person hasn't been identified, the district has not been identified, and he runs in a district where the other councilman person is running. How will people know who to vote for? Won't it be confusing? Will they think that whoever is running against the current? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I understand that. I think it's more, this is a temporary concern because this is something that's actively being resolved. So
Okay.
hopefully hopefully they'll have an answer to that sooner than later. You know, we're at the very beginning. Campaigns are just now beginning to open up. So hopefully they'll have an answer very soon. I agree with you that it is a little bit confusing and
Mhm.
it's something that could cause confusion, but this is a one-time issue that hopefully they will have a to in the fall, or they will have a resolution in the fall.
So Betsy, as a trial lawyer for 50 years, I got to ask this question. What's the litigation over the redistricting effect that going to have on that? Hasn't some already been filed? Is that just speculation out there? Some people have actually filed suit.
I will be completely honest with you. I am a transactions attorney. I don't know specifically about that litigation. That's not my team and not something that I've been made aware of. It's possible that there's been a suit, but if there is, it's not something that I've been made privy to.
Sam, where's your assistant county attorney trial specialist?
We have so many capable attorneys on the Office of Law team.
Yeah, they're in a different section. I don't see them. They've moved us all around, so I just don't know what they're working on right now. So it's not something I'm aware that's come in.
I mean, I do think it's something I know has been flagged, right? As the work of this body continues to get underway and we've got this item on the agenda, communications and outreach, to make sure that efforts aren't at odds, if it were, as it were. So I think it's something that could be registered with commission representatives, and we can certainly share that at a staff level to our counterparts.
Mhm.
I didn't mean to bring
And
up
I,
problematic stuff. I just think that it seems to me I've heard enough concern articulated out there publicly that it seems to me that it'll be an issue. I don't know how much it'll impact us, but
Right.
it certainly may impact where somebody's going to run.
Yeah, I think clarity of timelines helps too.
Any other questions or comments with regard to the update on the council redistricting, which I think sounds to be it's pending? Hearing none, let's go on to the next agenda item, and that is the discussion of potential guest speakers for our commission going forward.
Oh, and could I actually jump in just for a moment? I was the person who suggested this agenda item. So I meant it to be both kind of a potential reflection on anything we heard last meeting and also anyone else you'd like to hear from.
Can you identify
and one
yourself
other
for
quick,
the record, please?
I'm sorry, I'm Shane Spencer, staff support. But just one thing that I did want to add as a takeaway, just for me personally, as staff support from hearing from Montgomery County, is I got a chance to read the analysis report that Montgomery County staff did of their program, and I learned that that folks might appreciate knowing this here, that candidates that use their public financing, which is very similar to our program, they got almost 100% of their funding from small dollar donations. And then candidates who did not participate got well under 10% of their total funding from small dollar donations. And candidates that participated in their public financing fund were also just as successful at actually winning as their candidates that weren't participating. So I just thought that was a nice, hopeful takeaway to hear that this public finance election fund is working as intended in a sister sibling county.
I think that's good to know, although I would
Mhm.
perceive that there's substantial difference in the makeup of Baltimore County and Montgomery County.
Yeah, we'll find out.
But that is good to know. But I would like to know why the oh, my mind is a blank. But skip me.
You
know,
can ask,
why
Bernice, you can ask later.
why didn't they draw more money? I mean, because I'm wondering where the source, you said was private monies, but I just wonder, what made them go that way?
I'm not sure. Could you clarify, say that another way for me?
Well, when the Samantha was reading the report, was it Samantha? Yeah, reading the report, she said that the first two candidates did not draw all of their money. They one was 10% and the other got all of his funding or their funding from private sources. Did I hear that right?
Are you referring to what I just said?
Shane, I'm sorry. Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's me. This is Shane speaking. Actually, I was saying that I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. I'm just saying the average candidate who participated in public financing got almost all of their money from small dollar donations, which is what the program requires. You can only get small donations and some loans from your family, basically. But then candidates that weren't participating got less than 10% of their donations from small donations. So just the point being that the program
Okay.
was successful in encouraging people to get a lot more small donations.
Mm-hmm. So it's good to know. Good data. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
So, any other thoughts with regard to future guest speakers? It sounds like maybe, Shane, you think we could benefit from hearing something directly from the Montgomery County Fair Election Fund Commission, whether it be the administrator or commission chairman or members. Any other of the other programs we think that might be instructive to us? Well, I guess not. One of the things we might do is certainly, and we got away before our 2026 uh, council and county executive election, but I think afterwards, the sort of the denouement, we're going to want someone to be able to articulate how this happened for us, how well we did, what happened, et cetera. And I'm sure that was probably something we would normally do anyway. But certainly we'd encourage that, a look back and see how successful we were, what the problems were, what the benefits were, successes, et cetera. I assume that the folks that we're dealing with are not so burdened with executive duties, et cetera, that they wouldn't be available on a reasonable amount of notice. So we still have time, I assume, to identify potential guest speakers about this and
Oh,
encourage their
absolutely.
communication with us. Let me ask this question. Since we're the neophytes to this, and it's already been done, particularly in Montgomery County and Howard County, did they look to other states with regard to this, or is this wholly a Maryland thing? Are they doing this? Is anyone aware? Are they doing this in other states?
There is actually I could send it out, the GAO, the U.S. Government Accountability Office, published a report on this year summarizing what states and counties are doing across the country. So you could definitely take a look at that if you'd like. I'm happy to share the link to that.
Well, I'm a big believer in imitating success. And I think we've all maybe benefited from that over the years. And it'd be good to see what states were really successful in this, which had a high participation rate, et cetera. And to the extent we can get any feedback from them or reach out and get information as to what made them successful, I think that would be good. I'm happy to help in any way I can with that.
Yep, happy to share that, and any commission member can let us know if anything stands out in terms of reaching out to other places.
Right. Does anyone else have any comments about potential guest speakers, or if not the individual, what areas we should maybe focus on trying to elicit guest speaker participation?
Well, I thought this is Bernice Tucker. I thought we had mentioned Howard County. That
There
we-
was a
Yeah, they were at
representative.
the last meeting.
Sorry, Shane. Yeah.
Okay, there's no feedback from them, only Montgomery County.
I think we were asking if you had feedback on that. You know, if you felt that that was helpful, that they provided information, if you'd like us to continue to try to get speakers like that.
Yeah, that was the question, but I was asking, did we get any feedback from Howard County from meeting with them at the last meeting?
No, we didn't.
Bernice, are you saying, have they given us feedback about their participation?
Well, yes, and a summation of the meeting.
Well, we
No.
have the minutes.
Excuse me?
We have the minutes, I believe.
Okay, well, I haven't seen the minutes.
All of the meetings are recorded. So we'll make sure that everyone has a link to the audio files. And this is Sam speaking. I think in terms of the Howard takeaways, you know, very similar to what you all are experiencing, right? As a new commission. So we talked about outreach, you know, about, you know, who's participated, how they engaged prospective candidates. So very similar, you know, experience, right, in terms of conducting the outreach and going through their processes. But they've got a little more runway, right? Like they've had candidates that have taken advantage of the fund. I think Montgomery County will be very instructive, though.
Thank you.
Sure.
And Montgomery
this
might
is
be a little
Danny.
bit more. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amelia.
I was just going to say it would be helpful, thinking about the feedback from the last meeting, maybe to have candidates who used the fund and their experience using the fund, and how that went. I don't know if anybody has contact with any of them, but I think that would be helpful too, to get their kind of user experience.
Sounds like a great idea to me.
Me too.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd like to hear someone.
Particularly the successful ones.
Yes, but yeah, you want to hear from the unsuccessful as well.
Any further comments about potential guest speakers or input for the future? Okay. If not, I think we can move on to the next agenda item, which is, I can't even read my handwriting here. Sam, what is that? Commission and
Communications and outreach.
I got com and something. My handwriting was awful. Okay. So clearly my communication wasn't very good because I couldn't read my own handwriting. So what about communications and outreach?
This is Sam. I'm happy to tee it up for conversation. So if everyone can, if you're in a position to view the screen, as you may recall, Brad developed a one-pager, which is really intended to be like a leave behind for community settings, events, and things like that. And I really think the purpose of this agenda item is to really start talking about settings in which you all can either speak about the fund at a really high level and include these leave behinds. Shane, if there's anything more you want me to add, but really it's sort of to hear from you of how we can maybe build out a calendar where you will be at various community events, things in your backyard or through your networks where we can really start identifying places where we can spread the word and start getting the information out.
So can I ask a question about that? Sam, do we have, whether officially, unofficially, or whatever, sort of a list, a roster of key groups who seem to be politically active or regularly communicate with the county. I know I can certainly see that we may want to have meetings periodically at the various senior centers throughout Baltimore County. But I think there are probably some very vigorous and involved community associations or stuff like that, political groups that we can identify and have are actually formally organized that we could reach out to and see about attending, one of their regular meetings, or even create a special meeting so we can talk about this with them.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think there's two ways I would answer it. One is, we certainly have, through the County Executive's Office of Community Engagement, various distribution lists to get information out about county programs and services and resources. One thing that I would ask of this group, and Marietta, not to put you on the spot, but I know you have various affiliations with a lot of organizations, right? So, League of Women Voters, NAACP, things that are maybe initially nonpartisan in nature, but are captive groups that meet regularly, civic minded, that can also help us get connected with other folks.
Yeah.
So I think it's sort of
I do.
it's an,
I do. I have a
not
lot
an
of
either or,
a lot
but
of
an
groups.
inclusive approach. I'm sorry, Marietta.
Yeah, I do have a lot of groups that I am associated with. And as you were saying that, I was thinking of those groups and when they meet and how I could get on their agenda to talk about it. So, yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit. You know what I think would be helpful, Sam, because we do want to have, I think, some uniformity. I want to make sure that we're appropriately compliant with any kind of county law. Can we perhaps come up with a presentation piece for nothing, for one of a better term, that we would use to approach them and say, look, this is what we'd like to do with you. And I would think we want to reach out to every county chamber of commerce, reach out to big trade associations and that kind of stuff. Baltimore County Licensed Beverage Association, Maryland State Attorneys Association, all those kinds of groups like that. But probably we want to have some uniformity rather than whatever we might say in our own vernacular.
I think that's a good idea, that we do have uniformity in that we're saying the same thing with every group. So it's not something different when you talk to one group as opposed to another. I like that idea of having a uniform presentation that you're going to present to each organization.
Right.
And I do think this flyer hopefully lays out a good kind of outline to maybe practice or start and see how comfortable you feel speaking to it. I think because this keeps it short and sweet, and if you were really just able to basically share what's here, I think you'd have a really good start on things. Yeah, so hopefully it's a good starting point. I think the only thing that, go ahead.
Go ahead, Shane.
I mean, I'd have to, verify this with Betsy, but I think the only thing that we want to be mindful of doing is to, in general, be casting a wide net, but it's totally okay to, and we heard that other counties had done this, actually present and share this information with specific, like Democratic, Republican, or other party clubs. That's completely fine. And, any other setting. So I just encourage outreach in general.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of what Shane's saying. I do agree, as we should cast a wide net. We shouldn't just go to Democrats, we should go to Republicans. Any group within any reasonable group is a fair one to go to.
Mm-hmm. I do remember, sorry if I could just add one more thing, because I don't know much about this, but the commission is welcome to research this. It's kind of outside of the scope of what I would do, but in terms of the commission researching outreach, we heard from Howard County and Montgomery County about Common Cause being active in this space. I know that's an organization that tries to advocate for this type of public financing, and they had a specific contact. I think it was Joanne Antoine. She's like I think the CEO of that organization. So that would be one starting point if anyone on the commission wanted to sign up to reach out to her and ask, her advice on this. She might have something to share.
To get down to a more granular level, when we get to that point, hopefully, and want to have these outreach meetings, which I assume that's part of our duty as commissioners, are we going to tag team with someone, a county official, to make sure we're doing the right stuff, to keep us informed, prop us up, so to speak?
Does anyone have a hard and fast answer for that, Sam or Betsy?
I mean, Betsy may have some thoughts. A couple of comments. We would probably need Betsy if we're asked to tag team in a political setting, for example. I think we would have to clear that with the Ethics Commission, because we would be in our official capacities, presumably maybe on work time. So that would be just sort of one example. I think what would be helpful from my perspective is if you are affiliated with specific networks and we could have a sense of calendar and kind of building out, we could maybe, take each as they come and under consideration. I hear you on uniformity of presentation material, but I also agree with Shane that this document can help maybe provide a soft introduction to the concept of the fund and the fact that we have one, to folks. And if you scan either the QR code or go to this link below, it does direct you to that staff page that's managed by Shane and Betsy and myself, for more like technical questions. So I'm sort of getting roundabout to your question, David. I hear you on, you want to make sure that you're saying the right thing, but I also think just getting the information out at a very basic level is something that would be encouraged by you all as commissioners.
Mm-hmm. And there's
Betsy,
an
do you
email
wanna
address
add?
on the website, but you're also welcome to it's kind of buried a little bit. You're also welcome to share that email address. And if you get stuck, you're just welcome to say, hey, I don't know that right off the top of my head, but email this and we'll definitely get them the straight answer.
Yeah, and Sam, I would agree. I think we would need to get an advisory opinion for the Ethics Commission for us to do it during working hours. My understanding for the county code is that we are allowed to participate in election activities, not during working hours, not in our official capacities. We would have to see, but that's an HR policy, actually, not an ethics policy. So we would have to see if the Ethics Commission would take that up.
Well, we'd probably like to make it less complicated than more complicated. I think you're right. It's probably
And
appropriate to
my
say, hey, look,
understanding is that you guys are public officials in your capacity as commission members. All public officials.
I think it's fair to say, look, here's the number to call if we don't know the answer to that, and just sort of be prepared for the things like that, because I'm sure it's going to come up. People are going to ask questions that we're not going to know the answers to.
Right. And I can tell you the Fair Election Fund address is operated by Shane and I. So if someone has a question that you guys aren't able to answer, Shane or I would see it at the next working day.
Okay.
Would it be possible maybe to put it like a little blurb about us closer to the election in the local papers, like the county papers or the Patch or whatever they're called?
My understanding is there is some interest in this program from local reporters. We've had some reporters reach out that something that, and thank you, Shane, for getting them to the right people. But for an ad, that's something that we would have to budget for. So it's not something that this commission necessarily has the budget for. But again, outreach as our chair has said previously, we have had Mike Ruby from the Chronicle attend our meetings. We have had some reach out from some local papers, and that's something we can also this group can continue and reach out directly to them to explain it to them and to try to have the engagement there. But in terms of taking out an ad, that's something that this
No,
group
just like a small article in the news, I was thinking.
I think that
Reporters could do a
yeah,
small blurb.
I think that there's interest in doing that. I
Mhm.
just we've had some contact from reporters that were the administration's working with getting them their answers.
So Betsy, I
Okay.
assume we could probably have some periodic press releases, particularly as we progress towards the general
Towards the
election,
election is what I
the
was thinking.
primary and the general election.
You know, it's something that we could discuss moving forward as we have these relationships with these reporters who we know are interested. It's something we could discuss. The Office of Communications generally, and Shane, am I mistaken that it was sent to communications?
Could you say one more time? I apologize.
Did you send the reporters to communications?
Correct. Yeah, I'm actually I don't want to get too far down the road because I'm not sure what comms would want me to say, but we have had inquiries from reporters and we are being responsive to them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't start seeing coverage soon.
Okay.
And certainly as soon as anything goes out, I'll send you all, we can send clips because I mean, I think that'd be fun getting some coverage. So
Get something to revise Sports Illustrated.
I know, right? I'm trying.
And I was thinking for consistency, why not put this flyer in the papers?
Yeah,
mean,
I
and-
think Bernice, I think that gets to Betsy's comment about just the available budget for, it's something we can certainly explore. If the commission would like us to explore the cost of getting it officially in a newspaper that way.
Don't
So
they have, Sam, don't they have some duty to do public interest announcements
that's what I'm
and
thinking.
for advertising? Just curious, I don't know the answer to that, but it seemed any publication should have some degree of public interest, at no cost to whatever, particularly where we're just trying to help across the board. It's not partisan.
Sure, I haven't experienced, publications that aren't requesting funding for said ad, but it's certainly
Okay.
something we can take offline with our Office of Communications.
All right, that sounds like a good idea. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just one other thing to lift up on this point. If you are aware of, and Marietta, not to again use you as an example, but if you are attending a meeting that you think this would be information that would be useful to share, we can make sure that we get copies of the flyer out to you all, whether we can mail them out or leave them here in Towson for you to pick up. But we want to make it easy for you to get this particular flyer out to your networks, but also recognize that we're not going to ask you to print 50 copies out. We can help you with some of those logistics. So if you are looking at your calendar and you know that you're going to be out in various community settings or meetings, and you think that this could be useful information to provide, we're happy to get you the flyers.
Hmm.
So we could email you that request?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions with regard to communications and outreach with regard to the commission?
I was just looking at Baltimore County Democratic clubs and Republican clubs that we could go to. There's like 12 Democratic clubs, if we wanted to do that.
I think we want to go to all of them.
And we could take them
And then
on.
let me see Baltimore County.
Mhm.
Let me see how many. Public
The next
park
commission
area.
meeting is scheduled for June, so perhaps it could be some calendar building between now and then. And certainly just feel free to email Shane and myself and Betsy, you know, if there are clubs you want to go to, organizations you want to go to, so we're supporting you appropriately.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sam, let's talk about that for a minute. When do we think is the ideal time to start this kind of outreach?
I suspect, based on inquiries that are starting to come in now, honestly, I think, you know, spring into the summer, because you're a year out. If you think about it, you're going to be a year out in June from the primary in 2026. So
It's a June primary?
mhm,
Okay.
at least now it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, anybody who's a neophyte running, they got to start early.
Mhm.
Good. Any further discussion about communication outreach? How about discussion about anything else that we've covered on today's agenda? Or any other point you'd like to bring up before the commission? Sam, Shane, Betsy, anything you want to raise before we adjourn the meeting?
No, I'd just say it's exciting. We're, you know, getting interest, getting closer to really implementing this. So happy to be here, happy to help. So keep it up.
Mhm.
Yeah, we thank everybody for your participation so far. I know you're getting well compensated for this, but it's our chance to give back, right, folks?
Right.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. See everybody in June if we don't talk before then.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. Stay warm, stay
Good night.
dry tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yep.
really.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.